Hey guys, it's time for another keyboard video. Might as well change the name of the channel to the Portly Computer Peripheral Reviewer. Yeah, let's go with that. Roll the new intro. It's the Portly Computer Peripheral Reviewer show. Okay, no, but never mind. Let's just go with the normal one. Yes, I've got another keyboard here to show you guys. Sorry if you're not into the tech videos, but they're going to be coming for a little bit. I'm going to try to shake things up with some other gaming videos in between, but no promises. I work a full-time job. So thank you again to the good folks at banggood.com for sending me another keyboard for review. This one, like, immediately after I put out the review for the GK61, they're like, hey, check this one out. And I was like, alright. And how could I not? I mean, look at this thing. It's probably all washed out from, like, the lighting from what I can tell, because it's a very bright boy. Ladies and gentlemen, this is the Womier K66. I think I'm saying that name right. You're here to see the keyboard though, not my face. So let's roll the B-roll. When you order the K66, it's going to come in a nice, pretty white box, at least mine did, and inside the box is not very much, but in this case, that's kind of okay. I'm okay with no frills. This one comes with just the keyboard, the manual, and a white USB-C cable. The Womier K66 keyboard is a 65-ish% mechanical keyboard, so it doesn't have as many keys as like a 10-keyless keyboard, but it's got like a couple more than a traditional 60% keyboard like the GK61. So this thing does have dedicated arrow keys as well as a dedicated insert and delete key. Now it is nice having a dedicated delete key because the GK61 that I've been using as my main since I reviewed it does not have a dedicated delete key. So it's nice to just kind of reach over and hit one button there instead of having to hit function and whatever. So yeah, I mean, just look at this thing. Look how still it's like in my screen here, it looks completely washed out because I'm basically holding a big RGB light in my hands with some keys on it. So sound tests are cool, but one thing they don't convey is the feeling of typing on this keyboard. And it really does feel nice and satisfying. If you're looking for something that is tactile, something that is clicky, you're not going to be disappointed by the switches on this keyboard. Now another thing I do like is the keycaps. Now they're not the greatest quality keycaps, they are ABS and they're pretty thin, but with the blue clicky switches, it's not as much of an issue for me when they're thin. Personally, I hear the click of the switches more than anything, so I don't really get a lot of impact of the sound of the keycaps, or that the keycaps will make when typing, like you would with something quieter like red, black, or brown switches. I do like that the keycaps are very clean looking, they're white, and they have a very sort of minimalistic, like just this plain, simple font. It's not all gamery. And then I also do like that the secondary functions are side printed instead of top printed, so you don't just have like all these characters on the face of the keyboard. It makes it look cleaner, and it's nice. Simple and clean is the way that this keyboard is making me feel tonight. It's hard to let go of such a nice keyboard. And one thing also is that there's no gloss. The past couple keyboards that I reviewed had gloss on the keycaps. These are just matte all around, and they are smooth boys. Like, I just like to touch them. Just get in there and just like that. This creeping you out a bit? Listen, if you touch all these keycaps, you'll realize how smooth they are, and it's very nice. Now when it comes to keyboards, I'm of two different mindsets, of which there are usually two. One is that it's better to have more features and customization, custom lighting, custom macros, software that you can do all the stuff with on the screen with a couple of simple clicks of this and that. And then there's also the mindset of, I just want something simple that I can plug in and go and be done with it. This keyboard falls into the plug and play sort of category. I kind of prefer that sometimes. Like, it's nice, sure, to have software and be able to just do stuff really quickly on the screen with just words that you're looking at instead of having to figure out what, function and what does what. But it's really simple with this keyboard, and I like that I don't have to deal with complicated software that may not always work. Some of the secondary functions on the keys are pretty self-explanatory. You hold down function and hit the key that you want to hit in order to do the thing that it does. So the number row plus function gives you F1 through F12. Function and escape gives you the tilde key. Up or down gives you page up and page down. Left and right increase and decrease the volume. If you're looking for a quick mute on the keyboard, it's not here. A couple weird things of note is that there's no like print screen, no home, no end, just page up, page down, insert and delete, which is fine because I don't think I ever really use any of those keys. But if those are keys you're going to rely on, just know that they're not on this keyboard at all. And now for the main draw, the main reason you might want to pick up this keyboard over any other keyboards that you might be looking at is, of course, the very bright, very obvious RGB lighting. You have the lighting of the keys itself, like any normal RGB keyboard, but then you have a secondary lighting cycle that you can go through, which deals with the LEDs that go around the case of the keyboard. So function and right control change the color of the lighting on the keys, of which there are 18 different effects you can go through. And function and left control change the lighting of the ring around the outer side, the case of the keyboard, of which there are, I think, 6 effects? I lost count, and it doesn't say here, but there are a number of them. You don't want to look at me. You want to look at the lights. So I'm just going to talk and sort of ramble on while you look at the lights on the screen as I change the colors of the rings and the lights on in the keys. How you guys doing? Staying safe out there? You got a bunch of bunch of quarantine snacks packed up for the winter? Yeah, you enjoying yourselves? I hope you enjoyed my rambling while I went through showing you lights and had nothing else to really talk about. But that's how things work here on the Portly the Portly Computer Part Reviewer show channel. As far as performance goes, it's got Gateron blue switches, not the optical kind, just traditional Gateron mechanical switches, but they work really well. Gateron switches are of a higher quality, and a lot of people like Gateron for good reason, and there's no exception here. For gaming, I personally don't prefer to use blue switches simply because they're just a little too stiff in comparison to something smoother, and since these are blue switches, they are just pretty loud in comparison to the much quieter reds or blacks that you'd find out there. Typically, blue and brown switches are geared more toward typists, and if you're going to be typing on this thing, you will have a good time. It feels nice and light, almost like an airy, crispy kind of click. It's like a soft click, but not so soft that you're going to accidentally press keys and make mistakes when you're typing. And for gaming, there's really not a whole lot to say here other than it works. If you press a key, it's going to function. There's no macros to speak of, so if you're looking to use macros for gaming, you're going to need to look elsewhere. As far as downsides, I know I mentioned I like the keycaps earlier, and I do. I guess it would be better to say that I prefer them over some of the glossy keycaps that I've experienced on other keyboards I reviewed in the past. That being said, with these being very thin ABS white, very brightly backlit keycaps, you can see some imperfections if you look too closely. While the front or top of the keycaps looks fine and feels nice and smooth, the sides, while they don't feel weird, they do kind of look weird. If you look closely, you'll be able to see the particles on the side from what could be, I guess, spray painting or however they had to make these keycaps. With the lighting, it almost makes it look like they're dirty, like there's gray dust particles that are trapped in the keycaps. Aside from that, if you sit this thing down at your desk and just use it and really look at the screen more than looking at the keyboard, it's not going to be an issue for you to really be concerned about, especially at the price. And there is always the option of replacing the keycaps down the line if you prefer. One thing to keep in mind is that the shift key is not a traditional shift key size, so if you do plan to purchase additional keycaps to replace these, you're going to need to find a shift key that's going to work, or just stick with the one that comes on it. One other thing to note, and this may be a flaw for some of you, for me it's fine, is that there is no way to raise the keyboard. Some keyboards do have feet that you can raise up if you do like to elevate your keyboard. I don't do that, so I haven't had any problems, but this is completely flat on the bottom with the exception of 4 rubber feet at each corner. I'm also not a super fan of the cable, just because I don't like white rubbery cables. It feels like the one that you would get if you bought an iPhone. Everybody knows that the iPhone lightning cable just sort of frays at the end. I feel like that would happen with this one sooner or later. I haven't had this for that long, so obviously it hasn't, but after time, who knows. Again though, it is a removable cable, so if you want to, you could always purchase another USB-C cable that you prefer. It works. It works and it's stable. I just don't like it. And then it gets dirty. You ever have those like the iPhone cables? After a while, they just get dirty because they're rubbery and they're white, so the dirt just cakes on there. That's no good. You don't like how that looks. You want that on your desk? I don't. Now, the past couple of keyboards that I've reviewed on this channel have been hot swappable, and that's where things get a little confusing. There actually is a hot swappable version, and there's a soldered version. The one that Banggood sent me is the soldered version. I think Banggood only sells the soldered version. I'm not entirely sure. And that's fine. If you're just looking to buy a simple keyboard that's about 60 bucks and you don't care if it's hot swappable, you're fine with the switches that come on it, then there you go. You've got yourself a perfectly good, really nice looking RGB keyboard. Now, I'm going to put a link in the description from Banggood.com. It is a paid link, so full disclosure, if you do buy this keyboard from that link, it does go back to me to help. Well, some of it goes back to me to help, you know, with funding the channel. So don't feel pressured, but if you are down to purchase one through my link, greatly appreciated. If not, totally cool, totally fine, up to you. Otherwise, though, I mean, it's a great keyboard. What happened? Hey guys, it's Poorly. As I was recording this video, my camera got real full because I forgot I was recording in 4K on accident, which I don't usually do for my face, because who wants to see that, right? Also, I'm looking at the microphone that I'm using, and it's running out of battery too. So I just want to take this time to say thank you for watching the video. Again, links in the description if you wanna buy the keyboard. From what I understand, these are selling out pretty quick every time they come into stock because they're becoming pretty popular because of the lighting and the quality switches. Again, check them out. They come in blue, brown, black, and white. No, blue, brown, black, and red. This is a great quality ending to a great quality video. Thank you for watching, commenting, liking, and subscribing, perhaps. Bye-bye.